All right, welcome to the Coaching Collective podcast, episode 5. So today we are very grateful to have Kuba Cielen on board, all the way from Rotherham Gym, Ultraflex Rotherham Gym, his gym, located in the UK. We'll start with a little bit of introduction about yourself, and we'll take it from there, man. So welcome aboard. Thanks for jumping on with us, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on, guys. Yeah, so obviously great introduction. I'm a bodybuilder from UK. I also coach and own a gym. So any of you guys that will have come across me know what I do. But for those of you that don't, I'm a coach, I'm a bodybuilder. I'm pretty much all in across everything I do, and that's kind of what I stand for. And as we delve deep into the conversation, you'll probably get to know what I'm about and what I do. So I think the conversation will probably speak for themselves. And if anyone's interested, have a look at my socials, and you'll probably see more of what I'm all about as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so one of the things that actually captivates me the most about you is you are coaching a large cohort of like top level competitors, but at the same time, you're walking the walk to such an extent. Like we had a touch on this with AJ the other week as well, saying so a lot of coaches sort of take that step back. But I remember watching one of the vlogs in particular, and you had like upwards more than a dozen competitors competing on the same day as yourself. And that to me was like, that's passion.
Yeah, I probably had like 20 people do the same show as me.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because I always wonder, I don't
Yeah.
even know if I could do a handful. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you cope with that?
It's pretty simple, man. Like right, I'm probably going to sound like a bit of and I'm just going to say it anyway because that's my opinion. Everyone's entitled to one. Whether people like it or not, I don't care. Now, bodybuilding, right? Let's take what we do in bodybuilders as being a full-time bodybuilder, right? All I've got to do, wake up on time, eat my meals, train, go to bed on time. That's literally all it takes, right? So you are telling me you have to take a step back from living a regimented life, eating your meals, going to gym, and going to bed on time to coach. Like,
Yeah.
how ridiculous does that sound? Like, it's like, when you think about it logically, it's like, it just doesn't make any sense. So for me, like, that is an excuse for people to be like, right, I don't really want to do this, but I can make some good money. I can make a living out of coaching. So all I'll just say is I have to take a step back because, coaching's priority. But it's like, okay, so you're telling me that you have to take a step back from your training just to coach. And it's like, I know, I'll give you an example. For example, AJ, I regard him as one of the best coaches in the UK with how he provides a service and the level of care, right? And AJ is very much full-time bodybuilding, all in, like anyone else. And no disrespect to other coaches in the UK, but absolutely none of them provide a service like AJ does. So if you're telling me that AJ can do this, but you cannot, that just tells me more about your work ethic and how you are as a person. So without sounding like a too much of a douche, right? Bodybuilding is very easy. It just takes regimen and discipline. These are the traits that also translate into you being great in any other venture that you do in life. If you don't have the discipline and work ethic to get up on time, to stick to a schedule, trust me, you're probably not going to do all that well in coaching either, because that's all it takes. Like, bodybuilding and business go hand in hand. Like, my business partner, right, is a multimillionaire, and he has always been a great bodybuilder. Bodybuilding never really needed to take a step back for him to build all his businesses because it goes hand in hand. So when people use that as an excuse, it almost gets under my skin a little bit, because it's like, no, that is your choice to do that. Do not use a poor excuse that, bodybuilding needs to take a step back for you to coach, because that's just ridiculous. It's like, what? Like, why? What's stopping you? Like, you can't have 10 minutes to eat a meal in between your check-ins. You can't have 2 hours out of your day to go and train. It's like, realistically, none of you are going to be sitting on your laptops 12 hours a day. You're just not. Let's face it. So, that's definitely my opinion on this. It's like, how do I manage it? It's pretty simple, bud. I've got the same structure every single day. I treat coaching like a full-time job. I don't treat it like a hobby, and I don't treat it like a pastime that most coaches do. Most people that want to get into coaching think that being a coach is an easy job where, you do a little bit of work here and there and you kind of work out your own schedule, but it could not be any further from the truth. It's like, I have my set work times. If my clients don't get a response on time, they would literally message me and be like, is everything okay? That's the kind of discipline you have to deliver a good quality service with a level of care. So bodybuilding and coaching and business go hand in hand because they both take equal amount of discipline and regimen to be actually good at it. So how do I manage it? It's pretty simple. I wake up on time. I get my work done on time. I get my meals on time. I get my water intake in. I go and train. I go to bed early, and I rinse and repeat that over again. I don't travel. I don't do much holidays whatsoever. I don't do any, to be honest, I don't really do any holidays. The only time I've ever gone away is like client shows. So it's like, how do I manage it? It's pretty simple. I've got a very disciplined structure to my day and very, very set work times where that's my work time. That's when I do my client work, nothing else. That's when I train. And then again, back to client work. That's pretty much as simple as it is. And if people treat coaching like a real job, they would probably get half as much done. But the issue is, most people, I imagine, they'll do a check-in, they'll scroll on Instagram, they'll, listen to some YouTube, they'll do a check-in. It's like, no, when I'm working, I'm in the office, I'm working. That's just work, nothing else. And I think if you speak to any other coach that coaches as well, and that really gives a shit about what they do, don't just want to get paid, they will probably give you the same answer. It's like, I'll refer back to AJ. Trust me, do you think AJ is doing check-ins and in between check-ins, he's looking at his personal phone, he's going on YouTube, he's looking at Instagram? No. It's like, I'll give you little things like, I don't go on my social media until 10 a.m. All my majority of my work has to be done before I even open the app. So little things like that I know will take away from the time where I need my focus and my check-ins. Like, I just don't do.
Yeah.
So how do I manage it? It's pretty easy. You need to make sure that, you are pretty disciplined and you've got some solid structure and you treat it like a real job.
Yeah, I feel like based on that as well, I feel like it's very routine driven. Obviously based on, I've watched a lot of your YouTube and you are just routine. And I feel like it takes a certain type of person to be like that, because not everyone can be like that. And it's good to hear from you like that, because not a lot of people would think about it like that. A lot of people take coaching as, I know, it's like they want to take shortcuts with it. It's sort of like they want to do as little as possible to, make as much money as possible, pretty much like you said. And having that routine and finding that time to sort of just get everything done and having the discipline to sit there and do it. It's just like it's another breed. I feel like there's so many different types of coaches, and the ones that are the most successful are the ones that are like you, setting that routine and that discipline.
The ones that care and treat it like a job, and they understand that the client is investing in them for a reason beyond financials.
Yeah.
Because when someone comes to you, they're investing their ambition in you, their dream in you. And the fact is, a lot of people don't treat it like that. But what I was going to sort of touch on with that as well, you sort of said how like bodybuilding plays into like your level of discipline, which translates to business, so on and so forth. I'm a big believer in how you do one thing and how you do everything. And I'm sure you're the exact same based on the passion there. How many times do you have clients where you say to them, this routine is actually going to, you might not say it, but the routine of it is going to benefit them more than it's a burden? Do you know what I mean by that?
I do say it. I do say
it
because that is the biggest reason. That is the biggest reason why most people are actually holding their own progress back. And it's like, I'm working with numerous pros that can't get in bed on time and can't wake up on time. It's like, if you're going to bed at like 1, 2 a.m. and you're telling me that you are the most productive at night, it's like, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
You procrastinate most at night. It's like, the second that sun comes down, your body almost starts to switch off, and it's like everything just slows down. You're not in a mode where you're like engaged and focused. You're total opposite. That's just how our whole body works. It's like nobody is an anomaly where you work better through the night. It's just like, no, that is just your poor habits and poor organization skills. And again, procrastination, we could go on about it all day long, but it's like,
you could definitely go on about it all day long. Yeah.
The biggest, the worst real challenge I have is people actually sorting out the routine, which then in turn develops to better adherence. It's like, I've got people that are going to be doing the pro abuse, and it's like, we're doing a pre-prep diet and they can't even commit to that phase and sort the shit out. It's like, how are you expecting to do that and then compete at the level that you want to aspire at? It's like your actions clearly don't reflect your goals right now. And I'm at a point now where I don't need more clients. I will say it how it is. I'm not gonna pussyfoot around people. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna babysit people. It's like, I will tell you the facts. I'm not just gonna tell you what you want to hear just to kind of keep you here and be like, oh, I'm working with so and so. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't care. It's like, I want to see people succeed. I want to see people get results. I want to see people be the best version of themselves. And for me, if that means not putting someone on stage and not working with someone, so be it. It's like someone else can bend over backwards and try and pretend that it's okay. But I'm not going to be that guy, because when you're trying to compete in the pro league or, top amateur level, there's no room for that. Because the other guy or the other girl that's working, they're going to be working twice as hard or three times as hard. They're hungry for it. If you're not hungry enough to just simply get up on time and go to bed on time, that just says it all about your personality and what you need to work on before you get to that level. And it's like, I don't expect perfection from anyone, but what I do expect is a slight bit of effort. And, realistically, anyone and everyone can develop a good structure with the meal timing, with the schedule, which in essence, it's not just going to benefit you as a bodybuilder, but it's going to make you thrive across anything that you do.
Yeah. And it's like one of those things as well. And I am personally someone that went through this a little bit with my last prep. And it's like, you get into such a routine when you're prepping, for example, and everything was down to the minute. Like, if I got to a certain time of the day and I hadn't eaten my meal, it was like my day was ruined. And it's one of those things as well that coming out of my show, I really struggled going into off season to keep that routine and keep that structure. And it's one of those things where I sort of got into the mindset where, and I'm sure a lot of people can probably relate to this that do bodybuilding, they sort of go into that off-season mode, and it's like routine doesn't matter as much anymore. I'm not hungry. I can eat whenever I want. I can do this whenever I want. And it took me, coming out of my show, it probably took me about 6-7 weeks to realize, what the fuck am I doing? I need to keep a routine still, even in the off season. And it just does make you so much more productive as well. Like tenfold.
You need the routine for every element of your life, though.
Yeah.
I've never had a client who's going to bed at 1 a.m. in the morning and waking up at 10 who's productive.
Yeah.
Not just when it comes to bodybuilding. I'm talking in life. None of them. I've never had someone have those kind of hours, unless they have a night shift job where they're making a packet for whatever reason, who's actually succeeded at something in life. Like, as horrible as that might sound. Yeah.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. But so how do you find managing like the businesses between the gym, between the coaching and all that stuff as well? Do you want to give us a bit of a insight in regards to how the gyms came about and whatnot?
So I opened the gym in 2017, January 9th.
Yeah.
And it was actually called Iron Athlete to begin with. And long story short, I ended up buying my business partners out, and then I actually met my current business partners, which is Charlie and Mike. And then they gave me an offer that I couldn't really refuse. It was basically, right, this is what's on the table. We can build a gym that's going to be a facility of anyone's dreams, right? And that's something I just couldn't turn down. So went into partnership with them, and that's how Ultra Flex Rotherham developed, and still continues to do so to this day. Now, as far as how they will manage it, it's actually very, very easy to manage the gym, because we've got set structure in place and systems in place. And again, going back to structure and systems, right? We've got structure in place. We've got those managers, we've got our PAs that actually work and help us out with a lot of the work. So it's like delegation is key. It's like I don't do everything for the gym. I just do the key management bits that me and my business partners talk about. And obviously, I'm in the gym every day. They are not, because obviously they don't live near me. So it's like the little bits that I have to deal with and liaise with managers, I do so. But it's more of a question, right? This is what we need to do, and I delegate the work to the manager that we have now, and she pretty much carries out all the tasks that needed to get done, and that's pretty much how it works. So it's a case of, again, structure, routine, and being organized. If you're organized enough, if you are ticking the boxes, it's like, I know I'm going to get my coaching work done in time. Then I have extra time to go through any work emails or anything that's to do with the gym as well. So how do I manage it? Again, you've got to nail down your tasks. The biggest tasks get done in the day. Once they're complete, get down to the little tasks, and so on. So it's like, we've all got the same hours in the day, but it's just how we use them that really matters and really, really, really makes the difference. And it's like, if you truly limit the times you waste on meaningless stuff, it opens up so much more free time. And it's like, looking from the outside in, it's like, yeah, I've got clients to manage. I've got the work, obviously, at the gym to manage, etc. to a degree. It's like, I still have a ton of free time. Why? Because I get my shit done. That's literally as simple as that. Every task get treated with the same kind of, I'd say with the same kind of respect that it needs to be treated with. I don't leave anything for like next day. It's like, you know, some coaches will be like, right, I'll just do that check-in tomorrow instead. It's like, I don't do that. You know, shit gets done on time, and it has to get done on time as well. There's no real room to kind of, you know, mess around. It's like, if I've got other bits that I need to do, I'll allocate that time on a rest day. It's like, today is my pretty much, you know, easy work day, as I would call it. And today is my rest day from the training. So I'm not going to book a podcast in when I know I've got my long block of check-ins and my training sessions in place. I'm going to book a podcast in when I've got the time to do that, which is today. So it's more of a case of planning your weeks and making sure that you manage your time efficiently as well.
Yeah. On the topic of the gym, you're probably, for everyone that's listening that hasn't looked it up, you can look it up. It's Flex Rotherham. And I don't think I've ever seen someone that runs a gym and just is so passionate about it and put so much effort into what pieces they're putting into the gym. And it just goes to show, like,
culture.
Yeah, the culture there is so different compared to what it is here. And seeing that, like, some of the kit that you go out of your way to get made, like, I know you've got a lot of is it Gym Shop that you've got made that's similar to the Nautilus Explode pieces?
Yeah, a couple of pieces from that, but it's yeah.
Like, and some of that, and like, for you to even go out of your way and get it like made for the gym because you know how good of a piece it is, and you want to give back to your members at the gym and just give them a good facility to train out of. Where does a lot of that stem from? Is it a lot of, you sort of see what's happening in the gym, what people want, or is it just more off your own choice and you're like, you know what, I think we need this?
So it's a mixture of both. Obviously, we've got a lot of athletes training at the gym, and I train there. So, you know, equipment, first and foremost, needs to be looked after. The amount of money that we actually reinvest into the gym equipment to actually get it fixed and stay on top of the maintenance is huge. So that's a big one, because when I'm training, I want to make sure that everything works smoothly. And, you know, looking from the outside in, I would never really want to train at a gym where things are just not really being kept up to scratch. So I treat the gym like I would be a member in a fashion.
Yeah.
So I look at pieces that we may need, and obviously at the moment, you probably couldn't really think of anything.
No.
Is there anything that right now that you're looking at to bring in or anything like that?
Yeah, so I've got on order. I've got a prime adductor, another prime cable stack, because I've pretty much, how many stacks have we got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 6 cable stacks at the moment, right?
Different brands.
2 from Atlantis, 1 from Prime, 2 from Life Fitness, and 1 Free Motion.
Yeah.
And they all get used at peak times. So I've got another Prodigy stack coming from Prime, which is the big one. Looks like a rack. So I've got that coming. I've got the Prime adductor, the Prime trap bar, and I've just actually ordered 3 more pieces from Prime, which is the flat chest press, which I don't have yet, which I will get, and I'll just replace one of the old pieces that I have with it. I've got the Prime single-legged leg press, and a Prime row that I don't have yet. And when all these Prime pieces actually come, we pretty much have like 99% of all the Prime that's in the gym. So I think we already are the only gym in the country with that much of a selection of Prime equipment. But when all these bits actually arrive, we'll have pretty much the whole catalogue of the equipment from Prime. Apart from the bits that I don't like. So
I need to move countries.
I've still got an order. Oh, actually, so my business partner has actually just bought. You recognise Temple Gym where Dora used to train at?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that gym's actually shut down now, and my business partner's actually bought out all the equipment from it.
No way.
Cool.
Yeah. So he's going to keep some of the bits, obviously.
Yeah.
He's going to keep some of the bits, but some of the bits will actually get into our place. So I think they've got some great bits in there that I know for a fact, a couple which will be Fantasy Pendulum that will definitely get in. Once we actually get them extra bits in as well, it's like the gym's going to have pretty much every single piece of every single piece of equipment that's literally worth having as well.
Yeah, that's
it's actually.
But I need to come there. I just need to skip the country or something.
You're hard pressed to find in Australia. You're hard pressed to find anything prime. Yeah, there's one gym in Melbourne who has actually have prime pieces. We've literally gone on a hunt to find more, and you can't find it.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of Strive stuff, which I think used to be
the old Strive stuff. There's some of that stuff too.
But like prime, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like
it's cost.
You know what? Nah, straight up, it's cost. Yeah, but I think just the culture towards training and how good the pieces of equipment in this country is just not up to standard. Like people don't understand having even just like with a leg, like the prime leg extension, being able to load in the different positions, like a general gym goer isn't going to know what the fuck they're doing. And I feel like bodybuilders would, but the bodybuilding culture here just isn't big enough for it.
Do you have many clients from Australia?
I actually do. I've got quite a few, to be honest. Yeah.
Oh, you do? Mostly whereabouts?
I've got 5 or 6 off the top of my head from Australia. Scattered. I think we've got one. I'm pretty sure is in Sydney. I'm not sure of the locations, to be honest.
Yeah, it's okay. I feel like
definitely on there.
Yeah. That's why I don't bring up the England geography.
Australia's quite big.
It's quite big, but there's only a few cities. Because like in regards to the bodybuilding culture here, it's obviously it's not like the UK. The UK, I feel like sort of it just exceeded. It's almost exceeded everything now. Yeah. It's getting there.
One of my clients is she actually got equipment in like a shed. So she's got a house with a bit of land. Yeah. And she's got like a big ass shed that's built on the premises, and she's actually got quite a few. She's got like majority of equipment that she needs in there. So she only trains at gym like once a week. All the other sessions she trains in there because the gyms just aren't good enough. So
in Australia.
She's made her own.
Yeah.
Do you know where she is?
No, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I'd have to look in the folder.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, no, because we've recently had those discussions with a couple of people as well, saying that like we don't have that here, and that was why we've sort of leaned towards like chatting with you, chatting with AJ, Luke, etc. Because we thought it gives people a bit of an insight in regards to like what's actually going on externally to Australia, because it's such an island nation. Like for example, we've said this as well. Like we have 2 competitive seasons, so if you live in Australia, you either compete in April or you compete in October. That's it.
Season A, season B.
Season A and season B.
There's nothing else. And then you come to you, like you would be having shows every weekend. Am I right?
So it starts from like April.
Yeah.
January, February, March, April. I'm pretty sure it's like March or April. And the show's literally, you can even compete like end of November.
Yeah.
So it's, you only have like 2 or 3 months where the shows aren't really on.
Yeah. And I feel like the biggest issue with it's almost like you don't have a choice here. I sort of push clients to say, if you want to compete, would you consider an overseas show? Obviously money comes into it too. But at the end of the day, lifestyle doesn't, I know you're probably going to have a different opinion with this too, but when I get a lot of first time competitors, and a lot of time with the first-time competitors, if their lifestyle doesn't align with the proposed show date, so if they've got a proposed show date, but they have events, I'm not talking minor events, I'm talking like, let's say, weddings or things like that. That, to me, if I see that as something that's going to potentially disrupt them, I'd rather them have a clean run into their first show. But you almost don't get that choice here. You have to prep over Christmas and New Year's as well, which for some people like us, that's not a big deal. But for a first-time competitor, telling them Christmas Eve, you've got to eat out of Tupperware, it's like, they think you're joking. Yeah, you know what I mean?
So generally what I do when I know that a competitor's got these things planned in place, I just start the prep a week or 2 earlier. Let's say week of Christmas, they'll run a diet break and a couple of meals off on Christmas Day. So generally, I'll always account for them days. And it's like a couple of my competitors this year have got like weddings and stag do's to go to. So the prep timeline's set with an earlier start so they can actually take a diet break on the week of the wedding and the week of the honeymoon as well.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, cool. So that's awesome that people are willing to do that as well with the honeymoon as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It
Great.
just means getting them ready a little bit earlier, so
Of course.
they're quite lean for that for
Yeah.
the actual phase, and they're all right.
Mhm.
As long as they're
Yeah.
not eating McDonald's 3-4 times a day, they're going to be
Mhm.
completely fine.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
true.
Yeah. And most of the guys that you're coaching at the moment, high level competitors or entry level, or
So most of them are definitely higher level competitors, and
yeah.
we've got quite a few pros as well. But
Yeah.
it's mainly that level. Anyone that comes through that's a first timer, really. They always tend to really work with Meg now. She's a lot more nurturing rather than I am. So I always we'll have a call, we'll have a conversation. It's like, right, you are going to be better suited with Meg, and then she kind of takes over and takes under the wing. So it just all depends, and it all depends on what they actually say in the application form, what they actually like. Because I have had a few people come through that have not competed but have done the do for many years. So I wouldn't really treat them as a first time competitor.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the training age, experience, and what they've actually been doing for the time as well.
Yeah. The other thing. Oh, do you want to go?
No, I was going to say, did you have trouble making the transition from coaching, like I guess people chasing the pro status, to actually transitioning to pros, having pros under your belt, going for overalls and whatnot?
Not really. It's
natural.
There's no real transition from that, because when was it now? 2019 was when I had my first pro competitors really step on the stage.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really a smooth transition, because some of them I've coached since it was amateur as well. So it's like nothing really changes.
Yeah.
The only thing that changes,
the
only thing that changes is like, right, you're an amateur now, but now you're a pro. So it's like it's just the levels at which they're competing at. It's just different. Literally. So in terms of transition, it's like there's no real difference. It's like if you've got an amateur that's driven, like sometimes coaching the amateurs is a lot easier, because believe it or not, some pros are actually much lazier to coach than some of the amateur guys. So it just all depends. It's like seeing a transition. No, it's just working at a different level where there's bigger. I would say that there's a lot more at stake for professionals, especially at bigger shows, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, and it's great to hear that you've had people that have started off in the amateur ranks and you've built them all the way up into the pro ranks as well. I'm assuming that speaks volumes about you as a coach, because obviously they're willing to hold up. Like they stay with one coach, which is the way it should be. But you know what people can be like these days.
This was a question.
Look, it's coaching, man. It's like people with coaching world, right? One thing we don't accept is like people move on. People like to try and different things, and people have to come back. But it's like, a lot of coaches almost get a little bit upset when people leave. It's like, why? It's part of. It's like you can't expect someone to stay with you for the rest of their life. Some people will. Like I've got clients that I've been working with for 5-6 years, but it's like you're not going to get all of your clients that are going to stay with you for 5 or 6 years. People often get to a point where they'll almost like feel like they need a change, or or they want to try something else that they think it is going to be better or easier, whatever it is. And then they either come back to you or they don't, or circumstances change. So you have to accept that.
Of course. And I've actually had clients where it's almost like when they've been with you for a very long time, if they've got more serious goals, it's almost like they need that change of personnel just to reestablish a level of authority as well. I'm not sure if you've had an experience like that, but for me, I've had clients who it's like, I feel like I've said to them, I feel like you would benefit from someone else, not because you need a new coach, not because I'm not equipped, but you just need someone who is an authority again. It's almost like the relationship becomes too strong, like on a friendly level. Have you ever experienced anything like that? It depends on the personnel. It depends on the personality type of the person, because I'm really good mates with some of my clients, and that does not change a thing. Yeah.
So, if I am friends with my clients, the friendship conversations are very different to what the coaching conversations are.
Yeah.
So the coaching, or if I've got a friendship with them, friendship and coaching is totally separated.
Yeah.
So it doesn't kind of come in between. So it's I treat it a little bit differently. It's like, if I'm friendly with someone, they are still getting coached the way I would someone that I'm not friends with at all. So they're still going to receive the same feedback. Like their feedback is not going to differ just because I'm friends with them. I've known them for years. They're still, if they need to get told, they're still getting told, and that's it.
Yeah, completely understood.
It's gonna be one of my favorite. It's gonna be one of my. Sorry. So now you're gonna keep going.
No, go for it. Go for it.
I was gonna say this is one of my favorite questions now. I'm gonna ask every coach that comes on. But how many overalls do you have? How many pro cards have you had? And if you know wins, how many wins have you had as a coach?
I don't count that shit, mate.
There you
That
go.
says it all. That says it all.
Honestly,
that was sort of what Luke gave me as well. Luke gave me the same thing. He's like, "Fuck, man, I don't know."
So, my first client I prepped for a show, it was actually one of my best mates, and I was 16 when I did my first show, and then I did my second show just before I was 18, and I actually prepped him for the same show, and he actually won that show. So, no, different class. He was doing men's. I was doing juniors.
Yeah.
I was doing like under 18s. He did under 21s, and then he did one of the men's categories as well.
Okay.
So it's like, what am I supposed to do? Sit here and count like since 2017 how many people?
Hey, you don't know. You don't know.
Mate,
some people are like that.
I literally don't care as well. It's like I don't need to like sit here and type out how many pro cards, how many wins I've had. Just like what for? Like it doesn't really mean anything to me. It doesn't make my service any better. And to be honest, it's like what purpose does that give me or people that want to work with me? People want to work with me because they want to work with me, not because of, however many wins I've had or whatever, or second place or third places. Like, I'm sorry, but that's for me, it's the most cringy thing ever. It's almost like someone's trying to validate themselves in the industry. It's like, you don't need to do that because your results and the way you carry yourself, what you do, will do that for you. You don't need to put, I've won 10 pro cards this year, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares, man? Like,
you know what? Doing this, a lot of the stuff that you've said so far today has made me like you even more than I already liked you and respected you as a coach.
You say it how it is. You don't see that often.
I fucking love it. Like you're straight to the point and there's just no bullshit. It's not like, oh yeah, I've had this many. It's just like, I don't care. I don't care. I know I'm good at what I do, and it is what it is.
It's like Marmite. It's like Marmite. It's a hard one though, because coaching industry is so saturated, right? So I do understand where people are coming from with it, because at times, if someone's just starting or whatever, they'll probably feel like they need to validate themselves. So sometimes they probably want to like put it on, and it's almost like a measuring the length competition, right?
Yeah.
It's like, look, mine's longer than yours. Look, it's like, it's when you're focused on your own shit, right? You're not gonna care about stuff like that much anyway. Yeah. And let's be honest, right? Looking from outside in, personally, if I was looking for a coach, would I be looking at how many pro cards they've won or whatever they've won? I wouldn't. I would look at the content. I would look at what they do, how they speak, look at some of the clients' results, or even speak to some of the clients. Or all you need to do is look at the client's posts and see what the client's posts talking about the coaches and the experience, right? Or even listen to some of the podcasts. So it's that's personally how I approach it. So I'm not going to do something that I wouldn't really like myself from outside in.
Speaking of looking for a coach as well, have you always self-coached or?
No, so I have worked with obviously Jordan Peters. I've worked with Jordan on and off since like 2017, and at the moment I'm kind of back working with Jordan. I always check in with him, and it's more of a right. This is what I'm doing, Jordan. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So and then obviously if he's got anything to contribute as well, we do that. And obviously I check in with the wife as well. She keeps me in check. So I've got a good system. It's like,
and she'd know you best as well, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. I worked with Stefan for a year, Stefan Keels. I'm not sure if you know, boss of Outlaw. Yeah. So I worked with Stefan in 2020 for a year. And I've got no bad words to say. Stefan's amazing. He's a great coach, but we just got a little bit of different approach. That's all it is. So but Stefan is genuinely an amazing human being. He truly cares as well. He's so passionate about the sport. He's not the type of coach where you're going to wait for an answer for 2-3 days. He's very on it. He's so invested. He's so invested into his athletes as well. Yeah. I went back and forth for a decent chunk of time with Luke as well, Luke Miller, where we kind of pretty much did what I'm doing with Jordan with Luke last year. But again, it's like I just got to the point where it's like I don't really need someone there to just kind of check in and be like, right, yeah, you know, that's that, you're doing great with that or whatever. I don't really need that anymore. It's like if I want to do something or if I want to know something, I've got that many people around me that I can, you know, that I can call upon. That, you know, I don't really need to rely on just someone solely. And to be honest, I'm probably at a point now where I'm quite uncoachable anyway. So that's probably the biggest issue.
Why would you say uncoachable?
Because if someone just told me to do this, I don't think I'd ever fully agree with what other people want to do.
You're saying you're a bad client.
Yeah, I probably would be a bad client. 100%.
The pain in the ass client.
100%. So I'm better off just doing my own thing and just relying on Jordan.
It's fair enough. It's one of those things where who knows you more than you anyway, and it's just like at the end of the day, you've been doing it for so long. I guess, like you said, you just sort of have those extra eyes, and like you're so well engulfed in the industry as well. You have so many friends within the industry. Like I'm sure if you hit up a bunch of them, they'd be able to give you their opinions on what you're doing. And I guess it doesn't really matter too much.
You don't want 10 opinions though.
Yeah. But you want the right opinions.
That's the drawback.
Like, Jordan, my wife, they're the people that I speak to the most, and they're the people that, you know, will always give me the brutal honest opinion, and that's all I need, really. I don't need anything else, and I can't really see that changing because knowing the people that I know, people that I speak to, it's like, what is the new to learn apart from just improving what you are already doing? Like, there's always going to be a degree of self-development, improvement, and learning new things, but when it comes to protocols and certain things that you do, like when you've heard it all and seen a thousand different variations of different stuff, you know, there's nothing much else that you can implement yourself apart from just doing better. That's all you can do. You know, you can train harder, you can eat more, or you can diet harder. When it comes to the supplementation side of things, it's extremely basic. You know, you don't need to. There's nothing out there that's like novel, that's going to be like a game changer that people tend to think. And I think that's also the biggest issue that I see is like people often think that there's a secret or a secret portion or, you know, a secret cycle somewhere out there that people come out with that will get them results. It's like, no, there really isn't. It's like,
you know what? Yeah. The one that I hear all the time is this is for us is pretty simple. The reason the bodybuilders look the way they do is because of the growth hormone.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Anyone who's taken growth hormone realizes that that's not even close to the case. No, it's not the game changer. No, these guys think like it's like yeah, no, he looks like that because he's running growth, and it's like, mate,
man,
growth. You know what it's like. What it's at a couple of percent.
If that.
Yeah.
A little bit of fullness, a little bit of better fat loss, that's it. But when it actually comes to results, trust me,
it's not that.
I know.
It's not the saving grace at the end of the day.
It's just very expensive. That's it.
I often say to guys that ask about it, I'm like, look, if money's not an object, you can try it, but please don't come back and blame me when you're not happy with it. And especially sourcing it here is super expensive as well. So it's not really something that's really just thrown around. I don't know what it's like over there, but I know it's decriminalized over there, is it not?
Yeah, UK you can legally possess.
Yeah,
and it's legal to take. So it's a little bit different than Australia. I believe in Australia it's Class A, isn't it?
Yeah, you cannot have it. Growth is worse. They probably jump on growth faster than they jump on oils.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not too sure why either. Yeah, very, very hard. If they catch it in the mail, they don't like it.
Probably not the best place to live in then.
Like we said, for bodybuilders, it's hard. Like it sort of took years to sort of get all that stuff down pat, obviously.
And it's also very hard as well, because if you're anyone that's here that is at least somewhat decent as an enhanced athlete and you have a international coach, it's so tough because like they'll come to you and be like, I want you on like to get this, this, and this, and it's sort of like, oh fuck.
You can't get T4 here. You can't get T4.
Even Primo is one of those ones where it's like, oh, get some Primo, and it's like, okay, I'll try to get Primo, but it's probably going to be test.
Yeah,
It's
Provaron's the
just,
same.
Pay $1,000 for it as well.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucks,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. What age did you first show?
I was 16.
16, really? So how
Yeah,
many shows? And
yeah,
you're 28 now, correct? Or
yeah.
29? 28 now. How many shows have you
28,
done?
28. I can't, I can't even remember to be
Yeah,
honest.
that's cool.
How old were
Yeah.
you when you went pro?
I was 23.
Oh, so you've
23 or
been pro for a while,
24.
eh?
No, I was 24. 24 when I actually turned pro, yeah.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
so how many shows did I do now? So I did a lot as a junior, so you know what, it'd be hard here to sit.
Don't count as a
recover.
junior. How many shows have you done not as a
Yeah.
junior?
Not as a junior.
Yeah.
Still quite a few.
Fuck.
Still quite a few,
Yeah.
yeah.
16 is young. Was there someone around you who got you into the training at 16 or into bodybuilding?
Yeah, so I actually boxed from the age of 11 to like just before I turned 16. So whilst I was boxing, I was always lifting.
Yeah.
And very slowly towards the end, my passion grew more for bodybuilding than it did for boxing. So
yeah,
it was almost like a smooth transition. And then I started training a real bodybuilding gym. It was the only bodybuilding gym in my area, really. So at that time, you know, there was literally one gym. There was a boxing gym, that was Malt House, and there was Total Rebuild. Bruno's Total Rebuild, that was the bodybuilding gym, right? Right now, there's like 20 gyms in the same area, but you know, that was back in the day. And any bodybuilder from the area in South Yorkshire, the region that I'm from, trained at that gym. So when I started there, instantly, because I stopped boxing, my expenditure obviously was through the roof with boxing. I started eating 6 meals a day. I put a lot of weight on real fast. And then I thought, right, let's do it. Did my first show at 16. That was like under 18s, Nabba North East. Won that. And then I did under 18s British finals as well. I won that. I did like a qualifier before that. I won that. And then as a junior, I pretty much won every single show that I did. I did the NABBA Junior Universe, did NABBA North East, NABBA UK. So there's like the NABBA British finals as well. The only one I didn't win as a junior was the NABBA Worlds in Belfast. I got beat by an Irish fella that I actually beat a week ago. So at NABBA British finals, the Irish lad came third. And then we did the Worlds week after. I actually looked better at the Worlds. And somehow he actually beat me, which was a little bit weird. But anyway, we'll not into that.
You know what it's like. Yeah.
I did a lot of shows as a junior.
I've just found a photo.
Yeah.
I've just found a photo on your Facebook of you at 16 years old, and it's some photo you posted. It's Flex Friday, 10 years in the making, and it's you at 16, and you look fucking huge for 16.
Yeah, I was pretty
stupid. I'll send it to you, Michael.
Yeah, send it to me. Were you obviously you were natural for some time when you were doing the shows when you were younger too, correct?
Oh no, I went assisted.
Really?
Like before, when I was 18, I was assisted. Yeah.
Really? I've never heard that from anyone actually. Yeah, no one who's made it successfully anyway. Most of the guys sort of drop off after a couple of years. Yeah. Cool. How was that? Like, was that something you just sort of didn't know a hell of a lot about at the time and just thought, fuck it? Or
everyone did it. Everyone did it. It's like guys, right? So guys in the British industry, right? Especially the guys that started early, they started a lot younger than me. So that kind of gives you a lot of context as to what goes on. And some people just lie about it. I don't care. I'm not going to lie about it. I'll tell it. I'll say it how it is.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I was started pretty early, and I wish I didn't, obviously.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. Everyone kind of takes that plunge, and the knowledge was so basic and so stupid. Looking back, but you know, you can only learn from it. You can only learn what you can learn at that given moment with the information that you have at hand. Because back in them days, the information was poor, like very poor. Yeah, there was nothing out there that was, you know, great to actually listen to or get stuck into. So,
do you remember what that first cycle that you did was?
If you want to share,
it was actually the first cycle was actually a farmer sustanon. That was from Pakistan, and then organ on Deca, which was like the 100 milligrams Deca vials. So that was the first cycle, and I grew pretty fast off that as well.
Of course you did.
Yeah. So,
but it's funny because across the last 5 years, the amount has changed is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy how much it's changed.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
For the better.
Don't get me wrong, a lot's changed, but there's still a lot of practice out there that's still pretty terrible. So,
of course there is.
I don't think that's ever going to change because, let's face it, and put the facts together, PEDs work. So when you're using a certain amount of androgens, right, no matter what you do, it's going to work. So why people are going to think, why should I change it when it's working?
Yeah. You don't really think back. No one in those positions really thinks of the implications. Usually the guys in those running those poor practices are the ones who neglect any form of medical practice, any form of checkup, any form of prophylactic, etc. I'm sure you've seen that as well.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, and it's almost like ignorant. I've had people literally say to me, "I feel good though," and I'm like, "I don't care if you feel good.
You can feel great.
You are going to feel good now."
Yeah. Oh, the worst one I had was I was trying to give a friend of a friend who was prepping, and he sort of just came to me and said, "Could you just give me some advice on what my coach got me doing?" And after he told me, I'm like, "Mate, that's terrible." And he's like, "Well, I'm not going to stop it because I'm looking sick." And it's like, why'd you ask me? Like, why'd you ask me? Like, what was the point in that? He's like, "Yeah, I feel good. I look good. I've got the best results I've ever had." But he was running. It was ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. You can't not look good on that, especially with good genetics. You have great genetics. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like the reason why I truly believe that, the safer practice model is never really going to be that mainstream is because, unfortunately, stuff works. It really does. So when you've got guys that are quite ignorant and they're not really open-minded to try new things and new ideas, unfortunately, they're going to stick to what they're doing because you've still got coaches that are elite coaches that are practicing that. And you've still got coaches that somewhat practice the safer use models, but behind closed doors, they definitely do not.
And those lines get blurred as well the second that they're at the chance of turning a client pro or getting a win.
100%.
I've seen that where clients, I've seen it in I've seen some well-known coaches who dealt with like some friends of mine. And the second it was safe use. And the second that he sort of saw like a little door open where it was like, wait, this guy could win. It was just like
everything's out the window.
Hammered it. Like just. And it's just disappointing. He was embarrassed. He was embarrassed to tell me for months. He told me well after the show. Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into it because I don't like bashing people and because I don't care.
Fair enough.
I don't care, but it's Wild West from what I know. It's like the guys that are preaching all these things, doing all these seminars. It's like behind closed doors when I've got the clients coming to me and I'm working with them and I see what they did. It's like, dude. I'm never going to speak to you and be on that level with you again.
I have personal experience I could speak of, but as well as that, this is a little bit of a personal question, but I'm just going to gauge. You're quite transparent. Obviously starting androgens at 17, 18. Have you ever yourself run into any complications across the last 10 years, which I guess potentially have worried you or you've had to deal with? Whatever else, obviously being highly competitive bodybuilder too, so...
So luckily enough, my blood work's always been pretty good. The only real issue on blood work has always been HDL being a little bit lower, but my LDL has always been very low. So it's when your total cholesterol is low, the likelihood of you building any plaque is going to be extremely slim because if you don't have any cholesterol there and you don't have any bad cholesterol there, granted HDL is lower on the lower side. It's like, what is going to store and build this plaque if the LDL isn't there? So I think, again, whether it's a genetic predisposition, I don't know, because it's always been that way. And I've done some silly cycles in past, and even when I did them, it was definitely never really terrible. I had a echocardiogram done, and my ejection fraction was pretty decent. It was pretty much within range. Obviously, left ventricle hypertrophy was there, but we're all going to have it. Anyone that's of size, anyone that's using PEDs is going to have that. But one thing, actually, one of my clients, does echocardiograms. So I actually had a conversation with him in depth, and he's like, your heart is actually very, very adaptive. So when you actually stop and you come down in size, your heart also does come down in size.
Interesting.
So
yeah, I've seen that.
So it's like if you get left ventricular hypertrophy, it's not like for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
When you lose weight, you lose weight, you lose muscle mass, you stop, super physiological levels of drugs. That will definitely level itself out and come back down to a sensible position. So we've got to do what we've got to do. And the way I look at it is like, yes, I potentially am putting my life at risk to a degree, but what am I going to do? Stop doing what I love and live a life that's not going to be anywhere near as fulfilling, and live a life that's not going to make me happy.
Yeah.
Or take that risk and, live a fulfilled life and, reach the goals that I want to reach. Make your decision. And the way I look at it as well is this. I have chosen my poison, right? That is the only poison that I have. When you look at normal Gen Pop,
there's a lot more.
look at the nutrition, look at the food, look at the weekends, partying, drinking, alcohol, smoking.
This,
Class A's, every single weekend. So you're telling me I am putting myself at more of a risk than they are? I don't think so, because, I eat like a monk. I don't eat anything processed. I do cardio. I train. Who's going to be the least healthiest?
Eating is so demonized.
Yeah, like little things like blood pressure. Like my blood pressure is like I'm 274 pounds now, and my blood pressure is still like low. So it's like, you've got to kind of work with what we have. So
are you on normal dose of telmisartan for your blood pressure, or have you pushed it up a bit, being a higher body weight?
So I always use 80 when I'm on cycle.
80, yeah, I thought as much. Yeah, because I would say like normal dose to me is 40. And obviously when you get a bigger dude, you obviously push it up a little bit. Cool. And that keeps you well within range. That's great. You ever had concerns with potassium at all with extended use?
No.
Yeah. I feel like it's a bit of an individual thing.
No. But I would never use potassium as an addition when you are using telmisartan.
Yeah.
Because I literally have seen like people get, some heart palpitations. I've even seen, what was it now? I have seen someone have, for a couple of days, I forgot the name of it now. Basically, the heart rate goes through the roof. It's
I know what it is.
I just can't. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name either. James, can you remember? No. It's what Auntie Michelle has. Yeah, we have an auntie who has issues with that. Her heart rate just goes through the roof for days at a time. Then she has to go into the doctor.
Supraventricular SVT.
Yeah, that's the one. SVT. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's a condition.
Supraventricular tachycardia.
Yeah. So obviously you have a long bodybuilding career ahead of you as well. Like, what are you looking like in regards to fertility? Do you have any concerns with anything like that?
It's I don't have concerns, but I spoke to my wife about it. It's like, if it'll happen, it'll happen. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. It is what it is. So, as far as fertility goes, you've got some bodybuilders that come and see you on cycle. It's like one of the guys, Rob Taylor, he's a pro. 2-on-2 pro, trains at my gym. He's got a gym up the road as well. And every single child, he's actually got his wife pregnant for the third time now. Every single child he has is always in prep.
Yeah. Fuck.
So it's if you have a predisposition towards it, where your fertility is going to be low, unfortunately, that's something you've got to play with. But if you don't, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And it's one of those things I feel like people have to weigh it up, but at the same time, I know a lot of guys who have conceived when they're balls deep in preps or balls deep on steroid cycles, multiple children as well. But at the same time, for me, I'm on TRT and I don't, again, similar to you, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's not for everyone. But people sort of think, you need to have kids in your life. But I feel like that's becoming less and less mainstream as well. You don't need to have kids if you choose not to. You shouldn't be demonized for not wanting them, potentially. Because I've dealt with more people who sort of agree with me.
Look, and it's one of those things as well. And for me, like, I am bodybuilding, but like I don't know. I'm sort of in a limbo at the moment.
He's in a limbo. He's not sure. he's not
I'm in
sure
a limbo.
whether
I'm in a limbo at the moment because
Yeah.
obviously I'm natural at the moment. So it's one of those things where fertility's the only thing that's really stopping me is the fertility. And I've had this big long chat with Luke as well, Luke Miller, and it's like, what do? You want to do it? Do you freeze sperm? Do you take the plunge and sort of just hope for the best? And it's like one of those things as well. It's like you can't really test. So it's like, do you go into it and just hope that you're not infertile? And it's like, you don't know. You might start taking it, and then it's like you're infertile, but you might have been infertile before you started taking. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't know.
I'd just freeze your sperm if I was you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
That's what he said as well.
To be honest, if you are in two minds about it, I just wouldn't do it. I'd just stay natural.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah, it's a big decision because I've mentioned this before. You have that decision with the clients, but you have these conversations with the clients because, especially like I said, I get a lot of first time competitors, and they do. If someone's exhibiting the tendencies or habits and whatnot, like we discussed at the start, that I think that they could really take bodybuilding somewhere, it's almost like an inevitable discussion. But then I often have the discussion where I'll jump on a call and they sort of say, I want to do this, that. It's not a decision that I can educate you into. You have to make your own decision.
Yeah, you don't want to coach
you need to
into it either.
Put your resources together and decide, is this what I want to do? Yeah.
So weigh up your options. What are you going to gain realistically out of going assisted?
Yeah.
It's true.
Especially if you're a recreational.
Are you willing? Are you willing to go all in? Like, are you actually going all in now? Have you exhausted, your natural potential as well?
Oh, look, to be honest with you, like, I've only been training now for how many years you reckon I've been training properly for, Michael?
3.
Yeah, don't even think about it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's hard. It's one of those things, but like I am all in.
So
you know what I mean? At the moment, as a natural.
Give it 3 more years, compete as a natural, and then think about it.
I mean, what? I'm 25. I've got.
So what? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things, and that's the thing as well. And like I've obviously discussed this with AJ as well, and it's like.
So James is coached by AJ.
Yeah, coached by AJ, and then when I was looking to go enhance, spoke to AJ, said I might go to Luke. Spoke to Luke, went through everything, but even AJ said to me, he's like, 25, you give it another 2, 3. He's like, at 28, you're not past it.
No,
and he's right.
Not at all.
Yeah.
At 28, you've still got 10, 12 years of competing.
Yeah.
Look at Justin Shire. Justin Shire didn't start till was like 30 plus.
Yeah, 35?
Yeah.
34?
So you obviously plan on competing well into your 40s?
Nah, not into my 40s.
Not into your 40s. Up to your 40s?
Nah. I reckon I'd probably say 35, 36. That's I think as a bodybuilder, male bodybuilders generally you'll peak around 33, 34.
Mm-hmm.
I think 35, 36, that's when you start going past your sell-by date.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always held the belief that you kind of need to know when to call it as well, especially when it comes to what we've been discussing, because that's when it becomes a little bit more in jeopardy. One thing we did want to discuss as well, prepping with your partner. How is that?
Prepping your partner as well.
Prepping your partner.
I think a lot of people are going to find it really weird, but I don't think we would do a prep not doing it together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I find it so easy. It just works. It's like you're both in the same mind frame.
Mm-hmm.
You are both in the same place. You both have the same routine, which we always do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what is the hard to do about it? It's like the only thing that really changes off season to prep. It's like we eat less food. That's it. And towards end of the prep, she's probably not going to get much from me, so she needs to deal with that. True as well. Unfortunately, apart from that, nothing changes. It's like we've both competed enough and done enough shows not to be emotional about aspects of competing. And to be honest, I personally find prep far easier than I do off season because I like being hungry. It's like it's
you're one of a kind.
Yeah, it's like I like being hungry. I like being more. I would say in a contest prep, I'm a lot more switched on as well. It's almost like I wake up every day. It's like
you just dialed in.
I've dropped a limitless pill. I'm like, wow, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, whereas in off season, as you get heavier, it's a lot harder to keep that kind of mental focus. It really is. So for me, contest prep, I find it much easier. We argue more in the off season because I've got a lot more energy. So little things will definitely piss me off. Whereas in prep, little things don't really bother me. So I'm a little bit opposite, where it's like some people in prep, they get really snappy and short, whereas I'm the opposite. I get snappy and short in off season because I've got the energy to do so. Whereas in prep, I'm just mellow and chilled. I'm just like, right, I'm just so dialed in and that's it. Nothing really bothers me. So how do we find it? I think it's awesome. It's much easier prepping with a partner. It's like in past, I had partners that wasn't really into bodybuilding. And that definitely was a lot harder because I was at a point where, I was like 6 weeks out and, your sex drive's not there. And then you start being a lot more distant. And someone who isn't into it and is not in the same mind frame as you are, they will not understand what you are going through. Like, they will not understand the kind of mind frame you are in. So they almost take that. They take it in a 100%. 100%. They take it as if you're just being distant and you don't want to be with them, etc. It's like that's not the case.
It's not the case.
Just at this moment in time, I just need to do what I need to do, and that's it.
Yeah, it's one of those things as well. And it's like energy wise, it's just like in this moment of time, I can't be fucked doing anything. It's like it's not that it's just something with you. It's like I don't even want to get up off the couch, say for example. Like, you know what I mean? It also makes it tougher.
Yeah, I become very emotionally disengaged when I'm in prep. Very emotionally disengaged. Yeah, it's mellow. I like it. Believe it or not.
I do. It's like I become a little bit dead inside. It's like nothing will faze me, to be honest, at all. So
it's exactly
some people like it. Some people like it. Some people don't. I kind of thrive off that. So I think when I've done competing, I'm probably going to be like on that ledge majority of the time.
Yeah.
Do you plan on seeing your days out in the UK?
What, as in spend the rest of my life in UK?
Yeah.
Probably half the time here, half the time somewhere else.
Where's somewhere else?
Yeah.
Either Spain or Dubai. I could probably see myself in Dubai half the time, but not at this.
That makes two of us. Yeah. Yeah.
Not at this moment in time. It's just like if Dubai changes a little bit as well, with how the people are, then potentially I'll look at that. But if not, I think Spain is definitely a place to be. It's just so chilled. Like people are amazing. It's like, I think that would be the place where, in an ideal world, where I could have like my space here, my space in Spain, and half the year there, half the year here. I think that would be ideal. Yeah.
Do you find that like we said earlier as well with the UK bodybuilding scene, do you feel like the UK bodybuilding scene is the best in the world? Well, at the moment.
We got him.
Oof.
And if not, where do you think is better?
We've spoken to friends here who just want to move away for that reason, because they want that culture which they can embrace. Like, you guys are quite lucky because you walk into a gym like yours and you're surrounded by everyone living it, as opposed to you don't really get that in a lot of other places in the world.
You're surrounded by people that are living and breathing it. Yes, that's the culture in UK, right? But when it comes to a network where people are supportive of each other and people that have each other's back, I think America trumps it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because in England, what I found is like people want to see you do well, but if you're doing better than them, no. Exactly.
That's what's here.
So that's the kind of vibes that you get in England. It's like, it's almost like you've got people that are like in cliques. It's like, you've got great environments, you've got great people, but at the same time, you do have communities where, if you're doing better or you've got these ideas and people don't quite agree with it, it's like, people almost want to hate on that. But I think looking at a culture as a whole where everyone's like on the same mission, supporting one another, I think America, certain places in America as well, tend to have that nailed down a little bit more. And that's kind of the environment I'm trying to create at my gym, where, you know, we are trying to support one another. We're trying to be there for each other. We're not just trying to be like, right, you know, get one up on each other, that's the kind of vibes I get across UK a little bit as well.
We need to open a gym here.
Yeah, so I often look at that, and I'd love to create that kind of culture here. Yeah. And like I said at the start of this recording as well, I think if we can bring that level of awareness to what bodybuilding cultures are like, what good coaching really is, what passion really is, and show people that we can it stems from there. You build out a little bit of a network, and then hopefully we can embody something like that. That's my long-term goal for here. And it doesn't necessarily need to be bodybuilding. It just needs to be, I guess, the fitness industry as a whole. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You don't need to be a bodybuilder to love training and love dieting and love body sculpting. Like just need to be, because I got some clients that have no interest in competing, but they want to look wicked. They look great. And I sort of push them to want to compete. And it's like, it's not interested, but there's as much respect in that as there is in jumping on a stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but when you look at bodybuilding as a whole, it's not just competing that's bodybuilding. It's like, you can be a bodybuilder and not get on the stage.
Yeah.
It's like, just because you get on stage with sparkly pants on, that does not make you a bodybuilder. If you are not committing to bodybuilding for a majority of the year and you're just doing a prep, like, you're not a real bodybuilder. Like, that's not what bodybuilding is. Bodybuilding is doing the do over time. So everyone's got a different perception of what bodybuilding truly is. And I think it's more of a lifestyle thing. Anyone can be a bodybuilder. You don't have to step on stage.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's just one of those things now. I feel like in Australia, it just needs to be pushed a little bit more, and I guess we just got to bring more awareness to it all.
The lack of shows doesn't help.
Yeah, I think lack of shows and probably the stigma with the culture it is definitely lacking, because in England, like, the culture of training alone is huge. Like, people aren't bodybuilders, but people love to train. People love to see physiques. It's a lot different. Whereas the vibe I get from clients, obviously in Australia, is that, you know, it's just not the same. People are just not that into training as a whole, or even into bodybuilding or fitness in general. Whereas in England, you've got majority of people that are just regular people that will train. They will want to be in shape. They will want to get bigger or healthier or even stronger. So you've got a lot more communities, whether they're powerlifting or bodybuilding, that are just so into it, and they've got a passion for it as well. Without even competing, you know, we've got a lot of people in my gym that are powerlifters, you know, just regular gym goers that I always want to be in shape. You know, so it's I think it's more of a culture as a whole thing that's really different. Which again, I think Australia, it's probably going to take time to get there, but while ever things are so demonized in Australia, which they are, I think that's going to make it hard work.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm ready for it.
Yeah, we look forward to that, hopefully, eventually. Like, at the same age, I'm the same age as you. So I wouldn't say I have a short window to sort of get a job done, but we can see how we go. Yeah, trying to put in all the work now.
You'll have to move across the pond.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say anyway, the last time when I competed last year, I got to the end of the season and I'm like, I'm not competing until 2025, and it's probably not going to be in this country. I think I'm coming across to you to compete next. So
it'd be nice to visit.
Awesome.
Yeah, would be nice.
It's just not here, isn't? Yeah, it's not the thing.
Just make sure you fly out like 2 weeks earlier just to acclimatize yourself a little bit.
I plan on doing maybe 6 weeks there to sort of.
That'd be ideal. I
know. And it was one of those things as well. I was like, do I come down your way to sort of train at your gym? And I was like, I feel like it'd be one of the better environments to be in with prep.
Like, especially for the last bit of time. Obviously, you're gonna have AJ with you as well.
Yeah.
I think it would be ideal for you, really. Environment can really, really push you forward. And I think that's exactly why a lot of people move down to our gym as well. Like one of the Barrio brothers, I'm not sure if you know him, the Barrio brothers, both natural guys.
From where are they
Spain.
from? Spain, yeah. AJ coaches them, yeah? AJ coach them?
Nick Gloff actually coaches them.
Oh, did AJ train with him not long ago?
That's it. AJ trained with him.
Yeah.
So they've actually moved to the gym from Spain.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's cool as fuck. That's massive. Yeah.
We've got a few guys that have moved from Italy, Spain. Obviously, my training partner's from Ireland. We've got a couple of my other clients that have moved from Ireland. A couple of Meg's clients that have moved from Ireland. So a lot of people are relocating just for the gym as well.
What's the area like around there
Oh, it's shit.
to live? Yeah, I was gonna say, is it shit?
No, it's not that bad. Where the gym is, it's not. You wouldn't live where the gym is, but
Okay.
you know, 15, 20 minutes away, it's very decent to live. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's you've just got to pick the right area. Right, some parts of Rotherham are terrible, but then other parts of Rotherham are amazing, especially like Barnsley, Sheffield, which is all the cities around it. You know, some amazing places to live there. But you definitely wouldn't live like
in Rotherham,
close to the gym. No, you wouldn't.
So if I came, where would I be staying if I came?
Where would you be staying?
Yeah.
If you got like an Airbnb, definitely Sheffield. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's like third biggest city in England. It's beautiful. Some really nice places to go to, and some nice Airbnbs as well. Whatever you do not get an Airbnb in Rotherham. They are terrible.
All right.
We'll ask you one last question before we wrap up. So what do your next 5 years, how do you envision your next 5 years to look?
Ooh.
Tough question.
Right.
I was going to say 12 months, but I thought, you know what, 5 years might be more interesting.
5 years. So
got him.
I've actually got it written down somewhere. So
yeah,
the next 5 years,
cool as fuck.
the next 5 years, I want to have at least 6-7 gyms.
Really?
That is a must.
Have you only got the one? Have you only got the one at the moment?
So I've got 2 more that are going to be in the works over this year, next year.
Huge.
So you could not. Is it too much to get them in the closer to London financially?
It's just finding the right premises.
Yeah, because I always wondered, because whenever you see a really cool gym in the UK, you chuck it on a map and you're like, oh, okay, the safety's out of London. Yeah.
No. It's just finding the right premises. It is literally almost impossible. We've actually just found a premises in Derby, so that will hopefully the next one, and then one after that will be Manchester that we'll be doing. So cool. That is the plan. Awesome. That's plan with within the near future, and then at least 3 to 4 more over the next 5 years. Properties, coaching, and hopefully when I compete myself over the next 5 years at the Olympia, and with more clients. Obviously, this year just gone. Actually, I had 3 girls doing the figure class at the Olympia. So over the next few years, that's going to be the goal. So more gyms, more properties. Obviously, building up the coaching to a place where we've got the girls that are working for us, are set at a very high level as well. Obviously, building Meg up as well continuously, and just self-development and improvement all around with what I'm already doing. So I'm not going to be one of them guys that's going to sit here and say like, oh yeah, I want to do this different. It's like, I don't really want to do anything different to what I am now. I just want to do better to what I'm doing now, and more of what I'm already doing right now. That's the plan and the vision. That's the plan and the vision of the next 5 years. So
it's awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and be one of the guys. It's like, yeah, I've got this, I've got that, I do this and that. It's just like I'm not that kind of guy. But I do have all these plans in place that I definitely want to tick off over the next 5 years.
Yeah. No, awesome. Cool. Yeah, sweet. Well, thank you for jumping on board with us, man. Really appreciate it. That is definitely the most motivating. One of the most motivating hours of my life. That was great, man. Appreciate it heaps.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Anytime, guys. Anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problems, man. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. And